Hey, what's up guys, Bajheera here. Now for this video, we are going to be going through my Dragonflight 10.2.7 Arms Warrior PvP guide. So, a couple things have changed with this season, primarily like the set bonus. And as a result of our damage being less execute focused, we're going to be getting less executes than we used to and more Mortal Strike focused. You'll see that reflected in the build just a little bit. What we'll do is start off with that, even though I'm showing you my gear a little bit. We can look at the build itself. So, actually, let me do this because just to go over it. So the Arms Warrior set bonus is Mortal Strike and Cleave damage. We don't use Cleave. PvEers do. Has increased by 15%, and chance to critically strike is increased by 10%. And the 4 set bonus is Mortal Strike, Cleave, and Execute critical strikes increase your damage and critical strike chance by 8% for 6 seconds. Now, what's really interesting about Arms in particular compared to every other spec in the game is that Arms 2 and 4 piece set bonuses are not nerfed by 50% in PvP, which is pretty much the case for every other class in the game. Everybody's set bonuses are nerfed by 50%. Arms, as of like last week, their set bonuses are not. Our set bonus is pretty like tame. It's not real exciting, but doing more damage and increased chance to crit on our main ability that, again, like Fury, Rampage does like all your damage and there's everything else on the like the DPS curve if you're looking at the damage like bar chart. For Arms, it's like Mortal Strike and then everything else. So buffing that big bar by more is good. The one thing that sort of comes with this is the possibility of getting baited into building lots of crit. Because you're like, oh, crit chance increases your damage. I still don't recommend building heavily into crit because some classes like take reduced chance to be crit. Warlocks can put a curse on you that takes all of your crit and just sets it straight to 0. And if you don't have a decurse on your team, or if, you know, bitter immunity is on its 3-minute cooldown, then you're just toast. You've built into a bunch of stats that don't do anything. Also, Spear is just something that continues to be unreliable, so building into like Spear crit is a thing, but it's just not, it's kind of a meme more than it is a viable strategy. But anyway, the crit chance aside, you will get some crit from your gear, as you can tell, just from me having like the basic setup that I plan to have. But 15% damage on Mortal Strike is huge. So anyway, we're building into that. That's kind of what we're building around. Less excited about crit, but we have so much stats to play with, and the gear that you just end up getting, including this piece that I'm showing you, will have crit on it. So you'll be critting people. And as a result, you'll be getting your damage buffed up and your crit chance increased even further, which is pretty cool. Pretty cool. What we have here, though, is virtually 0 changes to the warrior side of the talents from last season. Things are changing, it just ain't right over here. Everything is pretty much the same. I'm even continuing to play the Thunderclap spreading rend around. I played that before the season bonus that sort of really did this. And I'm gonna play it after anyway. It's just nice. It makes this sort of like press rend button cost like 10 more rage, but it puts rend on everything, and it, you know, helps you get anger management flowing really nicely anyway. So I still play that. Everything else is pretty much the same. We are still playing Avatar proccing Blade Storm is my favorite. Again, this activating Avatar or C Smash casts Wreck at reduced effectiveness. You can try it. I haven't played it in a very long time. I can't really imagine that it's that good. But maybe. It used to be good, but remember, in Season 1, when crit was so vicious, one of the reasons why is because crit damage was only reduced by 75%, and now it's back to being reduced by a full 50%. So this whole Warlord's Torment into Spear, just like one-shotting people, it's not going to occur the same way, but you could give it a try. This is what I'm playing. This is what I recommend, though. Still. This is like a non-specific situation-specific build where it's like, if you spec this right here, you're probably fine in every situation. And that's good enough to start, right? For a lot of people. Thunderous Roar, standard, still just big AoE damage, buffs your bleeds. Arms is doing a ton of bleed damage as it is. Good talent. Shockwave, still super nice for extra utility. It says it stuns for 2 seconds. It stuns for 3 seconds in PvP. So it's a situation where you chuck a Stormbolt at the healer with your focus Stormbolt macro. Boom! Shockwave whatever's in front of you. Bang! Pop off. Alright? Big damage. That's the standard setup here. Over here is where the changes sort of occur, right? A couple things are happening that's a little bit different than before. Not much, though. Not much. We're not playing Skull Splitter. You could. Still not doing that. The main thing, really, is that I'm not really even playing Improved Execute anymore. I'm just putting points into Accelerating Blows. And another thing that you'll see is that I'm not really going for, like, Fatality in addition to Executioner's Precision. Taking a point and we're moving it into Fueled by Violence, right? So what's happening here is that we have so many stats to play with. We're going to be dang near Mastery Cap, and we have so much HP. It's kind of nice to have a little bit of extra healing on top of everything that we've got going on. So I'm leaning into that a bit. And again, instead of Improved Execute, just not really spamming Execute that frequently anyway, I'm putting points into Exhilarating Blows. Now, if you don't like this talent, you don't have to take it. I just think it's fun. Mortal Strike and Cleave have a 20% chance to instantly reset their own cooldowns. Again, Mortal Strike is the damage is buffed and the crit chance is buffed. So finding opportunities to press more Mortal Strikes is good. It still costs Rage though, so keep that in mind. But it is kind of nice. If you really were hurting for Rage, you could lean into Frothing Berserker. Again, where you take this talent point from would probably have to be like not playing the Thunderclap thing anymore. But if you really wanted like smooth Rage, you don't like that Thunderclap costs so much Rage, you really want to be able to have plenty of Rage for Exhilarating Blows and Ignore Pain all the time, you could try Frothing Berserker. It's just not that much Rage in general, right? 20% of 30% of 30 Rage is just not that big of a deal. But you could if you really wanted to Omega Synergize. But I go for Exhilarating Blows here. I think Fatality continues to be kind of like not very exciting. I do think that Massacre continues to be good though. I do like playing that, because I also do like Executioner's Precision. It's nerfed in PvP. However, you're using Execute, Sudden Death Executes, and Low Health Executes as a modifier to do more damage with your Mortal Strikes, right? So we're saying, what does our set bonus do? We're going to tack on more chances to Mortal Strike things to proc our crit chance and proc our increased damage, as well as using Execute, Sudden Death procs, and Low Health Executes to give us bigger Mortal Strikes, right? Now, that's pretty much the only thing that's really changing. I still like Strength of Arms in general. If you're going to be cleaving things all game long, Improved Sweeping Strikes is pretty good, but in general, just good old Strength of Arms is good. And the situation continues where Hurricane is good all the time, and in the situations where Unhinged is good, Hurricane is still fine. However, there are situations where Unhinged is good. Like when you can reliably cleave 2 targets with Unhinged, it's cool. And remember, you are also hitting Mortal Strikes with your Unhinged Mortal Strikes, which can benefit from all the things that Mortal Strikes can benefit from, including your set bonus, right? So there's value there. But other than that, Arms is pretty much the same as before. I don't think the stats really change that much. It's just that I am leaning more into Exhilarating Blows, and I'm still making sure I go Executioner's Precision, and I'm also getting Fueled by Violence. And this doesn't really change much, but again, if you're concerned about knowing when to use Hurricane versus Unhinged, just use Hurricane. it's fine. The thing that you're giving up for Hurricane is 1, the Mortal Strikes, but 2, the ability to cancel your Blade Storm. So if you need to be able to like kick Cyclones, things like that, you might want to consider playing Unhinged, but you know, chances are you're just going to miss your kick on that Boomkin anyway, so you may as well just go ahead and play Hurricane, bro. You're going to miss your kick anyway. Just stay in your Blade Storm. You're at least immune to clone during it. You'll be all right. But yeah, and that's pretty much where we're at with the Arms talents. In terms of PvP talents, really nothing's changing again. I love Storm of Destruction. You know, getting the value of Hurricane, getting the value of just Blade Storm, doing damage more frequently is fun. Also, slowing everybody is hilarious. But one of the things is that sometimes it feels like Blade Storm is the only time you can really play your character, so having Blade Storm up more frequently will do all the things that Blade Storm does, including proccing Avatar, which is nice, but also just keeps you out of CC, which is nice. So, you know, you go to kick a Boomkin, you get faked, at least you can Blade Storm it, right? Things like that. Sharpened Blade, dang near a must. Makes your Mortal Strike do more damage, which we love Mortal Strike scaling. We like extra damage on Mortal Strike right now, but also the reduced healing effect. And then a Battlefield Commander is really nice if you just want to, you know, just do more damage with Thunderous Roar. You want to be able to have stamina with Battle Shout. If you're ever playing Berserker Shout, it's really good to have this talent too. Piercing Hell Roots are nice. But again, some of the standards are Safeguard is insane. Just giving your teammates a 20% damage reduction for 5 seconds every intervene is insane. And then the situational stuff, disarm, war banner. Although I really find myself very infrequently playing anything defensive these days. I'm just pumping, and that seems fine. Safeguard is a very good thing to consider, though. But yeah, that's it for talents and honor talents. In terms of your stats and your gear, Arms likes to have a little bit of haste, right? Because you have anger management, you actually need to generate rage with auto attacks as this build. And there are things that you're spending lots of rage on, like Mortal Strike's 30 rage, Ignore Pain is 40. So having some haste to work with your anger management to generate enough rage for you to use your stuff always feels nice. And Arms just seems to just benefit from that. And remember, Mortal Strike does scale with haste, so we want to be pumping out more Mortal Strikes. More haste is going to allow us to do that. I find that like at least 25% haste is good. Some people can tolerate less haste, like 20% haste. You might be able to get away with that and then stack more mastery, but I tend to prefer a little bit more haste. And that's what I've got going on right now. What's going to happen to my gear? I don't have every last piece that I want. My Fearlath is going to go up in eye level. My Diurna's Chosen is going to go up in eye level. So it's just going to be more crit verse, which is whatever. I'm going to switch out this haste verse ring with the other PvE ring. That gives me a shield when I deal fire damage. Fire damage coming from Fearlath, and then fire damage also coming from this other ring. So my versatility is going to go down, and my mastery is going to go up. My haste will probably stay about the same. In terms of crit, I actually have a fair amount of crit, but that's mostly, again, just coming from Fearlath, coming from Diurna's Chosen, it's coming from my tier legs, and it's coming from my burst trinket. So these are not things that I've gone out of my way to stack crit. Crit has just sort of happened. I'm going to go hit the dummy a little bit, show you what my stats look like in combat. But in terms of my crafting, I made the blue silken lining helmet, where it gives me more mastery when I'm above 90% HP, and I'm crafted the Infurious Boots of Impunity, where whenever I CC a target with like even just like charge or stormbolt, I get a strength proc, which is nice. I don't mind having lots of mastery here. I talked in the Fury video about how I'd like to change this cloak to mastery for Fury. For Arms, it's fine if it's haste. I'm currently using the World PvP bracers. I could convert these to haste and get the Conquest bracers. At some point, I'll see where we're at. But mastery is very good for Arms too. Got the tier, legs, gloves, shoulders, chest. Then the rings, like I said, will be the PvE rings. Trinkets will be the PvP trinkets. And then my weapon is Fearlath. If it's not Fearlath, then it's this. And I end up having even less haste, less crit, but lots of versatility and mastery. I think at this point, I'm going to probably do some Mythic Plus here in a second. And I'm going to get my Fearlath at least to 525 eye level, at which point I can safely replace it and benefit from the fire damage and benefit from this ring. So this is what my stats will end up looking like. Let's go whack this dummy a little bit. Arms burst rotation, charge in, Colossus Smash. Use my Dragon Roar Avatar macro. Just keep pumping this guy, come out of that with a Mortal Strike. You might even want to, when you do your first Warbreaker, you may even want to hit him with a Mortal Strike before you Blade Storm, just to get it Mortal Strike on cooldown. Then you're just overpowering, Mortal Striking, execute when you can. Your priorities are probably going to look like Mortal Strike, execute, overpower, and then, you know, if you happen to care about any kind of bleed, you know, or everything is on cooldown, you can send the Thunderclap. Arms rotation is pretty straightforward. I think a lot of times it is nice to use Blade Storm to either get yourself out of roots, avoid CC. I think I probably do this more than I should, where I just press Blade Storm for damage. But a lot of times you're going to want to use it to protect your cooldowns. Like, you know, you pop Warbreaker, everybody in the game is immediately going to hear their little weak aura, and they're going to try to CC you. So waiting a second, then ripping a Blade Storm can maybe sometimes eat a Stormbolt, eat a Disarm, you know, stop you from just being able to have, like, you know, clones casted on you or whatever, right? Not gonna get rooted as soon as you pop stuff. But anyway, then there's the basics, boys. What's up, Brick? Then there's the basics for Arms. Is there anything else that you guys would like covered? Yeah, you'll get deep wounds from Mortal Strike, or from Blade Storm anyway. But yeah, getting deep wounds up is good. We're doing a guide, we are. But I think we finished pretty much the rundown of talents and gear and stats. Enough haste to feel all right. You're gonna have enough versatility. You're probably gonna have like too much versatility just about no matter what you do, as long as you're wearing PvP gear this season. And then the rest with this. This guy's got the right idea, man. Got the right idea. Hit him with it. I've seen a lot of people with 4 set plus weapon. That's absolutely what you should be doing. Yeah. Best racial for a warrior? Probably gnome. Yeah. Other than that, I think we're just about right, huh? Hopefully that covers it for you. Hopefully that'll get you guys started as Arms in PvP. Arms and Fury are both actually doing pretty okay, I think. They're both doing about the same, I think. I would still imagine that Arms is better overall, but Fury is kind of pumping. But if you're looking for an Arms build to get you started, this is the basics, all right? This will get you going. And then put on some gear, get yourself to, like, you know, 25% haste at least, and then go to work. Get that mastery flowing, have a little bit of crit in there just for fun. And, you know, Mortal Strike will have a dang near 40% crit chance once you're, like, really, really moving and grooving, right? Should be good. For rings and trinkets, mythic raids, you know, all you got to do is do LFR, get the bronze bullion tokens, and then buy it from the vendor, and then upgrade it with crests and flight stones, just like anything else. Yep, all there is to it. But all right, if that covers it, great. We're going to keep on rolling with the stream. If you guys enjoy the video, definitely make sure you give it a like and a comment and subscribe on YouTube. And if you're watching on YouTube, make sure you also send us a follow on Twitch. We're live pretty much every day with some games and gains, and we'll be testing out these builds, showing off these builds, and even maybe trying some new freaky stuff on stream as well. Putting it all to work. But either way, thanks for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed. See you guys next time. Peace.